Okay, we'll erase the first part. How are you? Tired? You want to go home now? Okay. Well, 안녕하세요. Okay, so like I said, for this class, we will put it on YouTube. If there are places that are not clear or that you don't understand, you can still watch the class again, right? So this is the first time. This is the first time we're giving this class, Applied Nutrition. Okay, this is the first time. But if you took food and nutrition with me, or if you took the nutrition class, it should be easy. Okay, if you're taking the nutrition class this semester, or you took food and nutrition last semester, so you should be going smoothly. All right. So overall, let me just give you like this basic information. Most of you already have this information, right? Everybody knows where is my office? On this floor. Begogwan, Sabek Shikwu. Alright? Come in. Okay, so you have my office number there. Okay? And because I'm so nice, I also give my cell phone number. So you can add me on Kakao Talk. Alright? Just remember, you laughing, right? Just remember, not texting me after 10 p.m. Okay? But from 8 to 10 p.m., if you have some questions and things like that, you can send me questions. And sometimes people send questions with the pictures of what we saw in class. It's also good, right? So my cell phone number is there. You have my two emails. You have the Yahoo email, and then you have the email from the university. So you have no reason, okay? No reason not to understand what's going on here. Alright? So, other than that, the good news about this is I actually have good plans for you guys. Okay? Good plans. So the plan this semester is very simple. Right? We just have a very simple plan, and this plan is for you to be able to apply in real life what we will learn this semester. We don't study nutrition just to have grades, right? You know, we want to be able to apply what we learn, so we call it applied nutrition. Okay? Which means at the end of the class, at the end of the semester, you should be able to apply what you learned in class. Alright, and I will show you how we divided the class in 3 parts, and we will go from there. So this is the basic plan that I have for you. My plan is not for you to like me, I like myself, so it's okay, right? But really to, you know, take it seriously and learn the best you can, and ask as many questions as you can. As you know, I always finish the class early, right? So that in class, if you were kind of shy, you didn't want to ask the question in front of people, I will stay after class. Then we can have a one-on-one conversation and I can help you. It's my job. I find my passion. I love teaching. I love being with you guys. So that's the second plan. The second plan is for you to find your passion, right? Hopefully you love what you do, okay? Hopefully you love what you study, and that at the end, you should have a happy life, right? So every time I come to class, I'm not depressed. I'm always happy to see you. So that's the plan, and I hope that everybody will be on board with the plan. And if I speak too fast, it happens. Sometimes I get too happy, okay? So if I speak too fast or I get too happy, you know, of course, at the end of the class, see me again, send me a message, and I will explain again, okay? I love doing that, so don't worry, okay? Don't worry about that part. Okay, so let's move on here. So what is the outline here? So at the end, the goal is to have a good understanding of basic nutritional science, okay? and how the principle of nutrition are used to achieve and maintain optimum health and well-being. And that will be specifically the second part, where we see relationship between nutrition, okay, or mostly the nutrients, and our health. Okay, when you go to the hospital, you go to our hospital, some hospital. Most people who are sick, they have non-communicable diseases. Right? So we have problems like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and these are things that to some extent we can avoid and somehow can be dietary related. All right, so we have to look at it. So I will put focus on nutrients. This is why the first 2 chapters, if you take the nutrition class and this class, the first 2 chapters will be the same. So if you never took my nutrition class before, if you never took the food and nutrition class before, don't worry. The first 2 chapters will bring everybody on board. Okay? But now, if you took the food and nutrition class with me, or if you're taking the nutrition class presently with me, okay, life is going to just be smooth, because, I will be repeating the same thing if you want. Okay? So, don't worry about it. The first 2 chapters will be bringing everybody on board. Let's talk about the rules. As you know, we are in Korea. It's a very interesting part. My life is so great here because when I go home, I speak in English, and when I come to work, I speak in English. In Korea, life is good, right? So the class is in English, but we'll make it smooth. I will give you study guides after every chapter, so that you can really see what I'm looking for in this class with you guys, so you don't really have to worry so much. So the lecture will be the major part of the course, so you are encouraged to read the PowerPoint before you come to class. Okay? Usually I see the student printing the PPT 5 minutes before the class, and when I'm speaking fast, they just look overwhelmed, just like they look like they're gonna die, right? So usually what I do, I try to send you the PPT a week before the lecture, or a few days before the lecture. And if I'm late, probably a day before. So before the class, you have minimum 24 hours to a week to prepare, to read, to actually even prepare questions. You can do that, okay? So you have time, So prepare this PPT before you come to class, read them before you come to class. This is actually very important. Like I said, I will be providing at the end of the chapter some small quizzes. And what happened with our computer? Oh, thank God. I started getting scared. Just like what's going on, right? So we'll be preparing those little things that will help you to study. Okay? So don't worry so much. I will do my part. Please do your part. Usually we're at university, time goes very fast. We basically just have 3 to 4 months, right? So before you know it, time is over. So what is my advice? Please don't watch Korean drama. Okay? Don't watch TV this semester, or you're going to be overwhelmed. But when summertime comes, watch as much TV as you want. Okay? Very important. Alright, so like I said, I will stay after class. Okay? I will stay here after class to answer to any questions that you may have. I will stay. Just remember that. So don't go home confused. This is the most important class here at Kemio University. Everybody must take this class. With me, of course. Yeah, everybody must take this class, because after this class, then we know how to live, how to behave, what our diet should be all about. Okay? Very important. Different from the nutrition class. Nutrition class, we just give you the basic. Food and nutrition, we give you the basic. But in this class, we're going to have like some calculations and stuff like that, and really how to read the food label, and you know, this is really more practical part of the class. When you go to the market, not the general market, you know, go back to E-Mart, you buy like a bottle, you know, a pack of cereals, then you know what you are eating. Okay, you are not just eating for pleasure. This time you know why and what you are eating. Okay. So it's going to be very, very important. The first 2 chapters, be careful with the first 2 chapters, because after that we'll just be rolling. All right. Okay, guys. So the book, you don't need a book. All right. But if you like me so much, okay, you can get these books. I have this book, Nutrition and Diet Therapy, by Ruth and Ruth, and also have Understanding Nutrition by Ellie Whitney. So these are the 2 books that I use. Usually I use like 3 books for my classes, and with some other research papers that we have, but mostly for graduate students. But it's not something we necessarily need. I will be providing most information for you guys, all right? I will give you some information. But if you want to go, you want to know a little bit more, or have more questions, or you want to have the book for yourself, these are these 2 books. I can give you the reference. Now, let's look at the content. The first 2 chapters, like I said, first one, we'll see an overview of nutrition, right, and how to plan a healthy diet. And these 2 chapters can be found on this book. Of course, I made some little changes and things like that. All right, these 2 chapters are also in the nutrition class that I'm giving this semester. The first 2 chapters. This is why I say that if you never took my class before, don't worry. The first 2 chapters will bring you on board. All right. Especially the second one, how we should plan a diet and things like that. The third one, I'm not sure, we're probably going to not see that one, food and culture, which is a very important aspect. But I'm going to actually get that class, specific class on food and culture and acculturation last semester. It's only one of the chapters, but we're not going to see that one. So now we're going to see the third chapter is going to be the relationship between food and health. Okay? Relationship between food and health. And then this was like the first part. I said that we have 3 parts for this class. Overall nutrition, what's going on and things like that. Overview of nutrition, planning healthy diet, and then we see the relationship between food and health. Okay? Now the second part is about life cycle. Okay? I explained to Peter a couple of hours ago what we mean by that. Now we have to look at the nutrition, in this case, for example, of a pregnant lady, okay, and the lactation stages. So we also will look before pregnancy, during pregnancy, all right, when a woman is pregnant, what kind of nutrition, what kind of diet she should follow, all right. Also checking her weight and the diseases that may occur while she's pregnant. For example, problem with gestational diabetes or problem with blood pressure that can occur. So we look at continue the life cycle. We now look at the infancy, childhood, and adolescent nutrition. When I came to Korea a couple of years ago, a lot of young Korean people were very thin, slender. But now in high school, because of nutrition transition in Korea, a lot of food habits have changed. And now we see a lot of children that are kind of overweight. And we may wonder what's going on. If you look at the area where we live by E-Mart, you enter into E-Mart, you're going to see a Burger King, right? So when you exit, you just walk a little bit. What do you see? You're going to see KFC, right? And then you look on top of KFC, what do you see? Hans Deli. And then if you get tired of Hans Deli, you turn right, you just see Starbucks, okay? And then just like, am I in Korea or am I in the US? All right? But everybody just look Korean, right? And then when I turn around, just like, okay, let me just leave America, let me go back. When you cross the road, what do you see? You see Rara Coast. Also another Western-like restaurant, okay? Not Korean restaurant. And then just like, oh my God, do we have another ship down here? And then it's McDonald's. All in the same area. All right? All in the same area, only that people look Korean, okay? So the country is changing. The country is changing very fast. And as the country changes, food habit also changes. What we eat daily changes, right? So, and with that change, we won't be surprised to have the same problems that we encounter, for example, in the US or in Canada. So that whole region that is mostly habitated by Koreans, but the daily habit is kind of different, right? So these restaurants were not made for foreigners like me, they were made for you guys, Koreans, right? And when you enter this restaurant, it's always full with Koreans, all right? That's the interesting part. And then, what was that? Saturday, as I keep walking, and after McDonald's, I turn. I say, okay, I'm going to watch a movie with a friend. You know the new movie, Black Panther. And I enter into Lotte Cinema. The movie was in English. What a beautiful life, isn't it? So the movie wasn't in Korean. They only have subtitle in Korean, right? So the country is changing, and I don't feel like I live in Korea anymore. I just feel like I live somewhere in Vancouver with a lot of Asians, but we're in Canada, right? But anyways, as nutritionists, you have to be aware of it. There are changes taking place, and then you will wonder, what is number one killer in Korea now? Why people die in Korea? What is the main reason? Cancer, yeah. What else?
Heartache.
Yeah, exactly, heart disease. All these problems that are associated with our diet, okay? And then you may wonder, what is going on? What is going on? So there's a change going on in the country, okay? The last part of the life cycle is what? Adulthood and the later years, all right? You guys are young adults, and then you also look at people that are much older. And when you're going to look at how much protein these and these people need, we're going to have some small calculation there. And these are things, if you work in the hospital, you have to be aware of it, right? This is why I was thinking of giving also the class on food and culture. We'll see if we'll have the time. Because as a nutritionist, if you work at Dongsan Hospital, and you see, for example, a foreigner, you have to provide them with good food, and you just bring them some type of pork, and they don't eat pork, you might find yourself in trouble, right? So we have to be aware that the country is changing. We have many people from different religions, different culture. Some people, we say if they're Muslim, they don't eat pork. If they are Hindu, they may not eat the beef, right? So we're just like, oh, okay, what shall we do, right? So we have to be cautious of it, and this is why that chapter on food and culture is actually kind of important for me. I'm still thinking if we put it or not, because I gave one special lecture just on food and culture. I gave it last semester. But one chapter on it may not hurt us, okay? We'll see how things go. Now the last part. This is the part that everybody has to pay attention to. Diet and weight control, I think we're going to skip that one, because when we talk about diabetes, we can talk about the weight as well, all right? Everybody knows that 90% of people with type 2 diabetes, there seems to be obese, okay? So we can combine the two chapters and talk about obesity and talk about the problem of diabetes, right? Excess of sugar in the blood. So this is the second aspect of our chapter. Chapter 10, that will be probably chapter 8 at that time. We're going to now look at cardiovascular disease, diet and cardiovascular disease, okay? And very interesting experiment that took place. For example, in Ohio, a couple of years ago, of a woman who had a coronary heart disease, okay? So what happened there is, oh boy, we don't have a chalk here. I guess it's the first day of class, right? Nobody wants to study. So I don't have any chalk. They didn't want me to teach today. Oh Lord. But anyways, let me describe it very quickly. So you have the arteries, for example, like here, right? This is the space. The blood is flowing nicely, right? No problem. But because of the fat, so when the presence of fat will reduce, right? We hear it get reduced. So now there's a lot of pressure, the blood is not flowing well or whatever. I'll show you some nice pictures about it. Now these are things that cause heart attack, okay? Or stroke in some instance, okay? So, but when she changed her diet, okay, she became a vegan for 3 years. The pictures that were taken after, you know, everything was just coming normal again. So from here, it just becomes like nicely open, nice, you know, blood flow. So there are a lot of good things that happen when we change our diet. Anybody a vegetarian in this class? Nobody, right? I've been here for like 5 years. I never met a vegetarian. You guys are meat eaters. All right. So the next one, we look at diet and renal disease. All right. It's a very, very important subject. Maybe also talk about some viruses associated with it. Hopefully we have a time. And then diet and gastrointestinal problems. Okay. And the last one, diet and cancer. You took food and nutrition with me, so there are things that will be very easy because we look at the diabetes part, we look at cardiovascular, heart disease, and cancer, right? So what is pretty much new here? Renal disease and gastrointestinal problems. That's just basic stuff. I know students sometimes think I teach too many medical stuff, but you cannot separate nutrition and health. You cannot. Okay? I was telling him that when you eat, something must happen, either good or bad, but something will happen. Okay? When you eat, something happens, either good or bad. You make the choice. All right? Okay, let's talk about. This is the most boring part. Talking about the grades. I don't like talking about the grades. Alright? How many students do we have in this class? Do you guys know? How many? Did you check? 16? 16? Anyways, if it's less than 20, Merry Christmas. Because you know the rules. If we have less than 20 people, then we have like 80% can have A plus. Okay? That's the time you're going to like me, right? But if we have over 20 people, you know, the other class I had like 53. Competition was fierce and I had many students crying and we were crying together. Because, yeah, because I was just feeling bad. I don't like giving bad grades. If I can only teach, I'll be the happiest man in the world, right? But I must do my job. I don't want to get fired. So I have to give you grades. So, but this is the thing. If you don't miss my class, you have 10 points. But if you don't like me, and you don't like my class, okay, you can stay home and watch TV, no problem. Only that the 10 point might be 0. Right? Yeah, something like that. Only in Korea it happens. When I was studying in Canada, the professor, they never really check attendance. We just like we are adults. And if you want to come to school, okay. If you don't want to come, no, yeah, because they are students, they're just super smart. You are wasting his time, and whatever you say, he knows. So you just come for the exam and he has 100%. Alright? Please don't do that to me. Come to my class. Alright, so the quiz, 10 points. I already asked most classes, so I'm not going to ask you. We're going to have 2 quizzes, okay? But because I'm a nice guy, usually I cancel your lowest score. Okay? You're not happy?
Happy.
Happy or not happy?
Happy.
Oh my gosh. You guys are kind of funny. I say I cancel your lowest score. I was expecting, yay! No?
Yeah.
Oh Lord Jesus. Okay. Participation, 10 points. This part is important. Oh, again, I don't have a choke. All right. The next class is when? Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday, 9 a.m. I like the 9 a.m. class when everybody comes to class sleepy. And it's on Wednesday that I want to start. On Wednesday, I will start a new chapter. So if you come sleepy, that won't be good. Okay? So, participation is very important. You have to download the application called Socrative Student. So we'll do that on Wednesday together. Everybody has a smartphone, right? So everybody has a smartphone, and you need to have, I think we have internet in the room. So you have the internet connection. So when we finish the chapter, every time we finish a chapter, we'll review together with Socrative application. Okay? So it will allow me to know if you understand and if you have some problems. Okay, okay?
Okay.
All right, so participation is very important. As you know, I like when you talk to me, when you ask questions, when you say something. But if you don't want to talk to me, too bad. 10 points, absolutely. We have two exams. The midterm, 30%, and the final exam, 40%. Usually the midterm, 30 questions. Life is good that way. You have 30 questions that you can do in 30 minutes if you want, or 20 minutes if you want, or in 1 hour if you want. And the final exam is probably going to be 40 questions. Okay? But always remember, I'm happy that you know they raised it from the first class. The exam will be 3 sets of questions, same as the quiz. Multiple choice questions, A, B, C, D. Okay? You choose, but because I'm nice, B, like my first name, has many good answers. Yeah, I like this letter B. So if you don't study and you have all your answers B, you may have a passing mark. All right? Yeah, I like that B for my first name. And then you have true and false. Okay? True and false. I don't lie a lot, so probably true is the best way to go. All right? And the last part of the exam is the writing part. Don't write any poetry. I love poetry, but in this class, it's not about poetry. Don't write a lot of messages. I had a student who gave me a very long diagnostic of a problem. I'm just like, Lord Jesus, I wanted to correct this pali, but now I have to read. And she added an extra sheet on the exam. I'm just like, Lord, que pasa? So please, don't write poetry. Simple answers. What are the 6 nutrients? Carbohydrates. Don't write carbs. In class we say carbs. On the exam you write the full words. Carbohydrates, fat, you know, we talk about protein. By the way, fat is good, right? Everybody knows fat is good? Good or not good?
Good.
Alright, fat is good. Alright, so that's where the exams will be. So we'll do the quiz first. The quiz will give you an idea of my question style. Okay? If you never took a class with me, the quiz will help you to understand, he asked this question this way and this way. Okay? Quizzes are good, you know, because not only it gives you a little bit the kind of question that I ask, and number 2, quizzes will make you realize where you are. You can look at the quiz result and then you say, oh wow, this class is so easy, so I can sleep. Or you can look at your quiz results and you and I, we can cry together, and then we say, oh, maybe I have to study harder. All right? So the first quiz is good, because it will give you an idea of where you are. Okay, okay?
Okay.
Chinmuni Soyo? All right, so any questions? Any questions? Yeah.
Let me know your YouTube title.
Oh, all right. My YouTube channel, you just write my last name. You should find it. If not, I'll write it to you in a minute. Okay? Easy to find. You can just put, you can just put this name, Obiang-Obounou, on YouTube. Not a W. You put like Brice here, Obiang-Obounou on YouTube. You'll find me. And I also have some cooking recipes there.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a good cook. You didn't know? Oh man. You know that, right? You never watch my YouTube channel? Check it out. So I have good recipes there. Yeah. And some good music. So when I cook, there are some good music playing. Yeah. So subscribe. Like I say, for this class, it's the first time we are giving it here now in English, right? Maybe they used to give it in Korean language. So we'll have a chance. Every time we finish a chapter, I will upload the class on YouTube. You can take extra notes, and I'll send you some questions. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. So don't hesitate. Good question. Another question? You want to go home?
Yes.
You didn't say yes? What time is it? 2 p.m. This is the sleeping time. Alright? Alright. Okay guys, so I'll stand here. For those who have questions, I will be happy to answer to your questions. And for those who are hungry, please go home, and I'll see you on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Come back here happy. Okay?
Okay.
Okay guys, have a nice day.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.